And we are rolling. Man, we are doing it. It's funny how it's worked out because I think you guys took a break right before I started doing content. And
Yeah,
so I think we're kind of closing the loop on that right now. Just kind of surreal. It took like a good 15 years, but we're getting it.
right. Yeah, we stopped. I think like our last show at the Showdown was sometime probably August of 2010. So,
Yeah. And
so
I
like,
started doing content like 2012, give or take.
uh,
So
okay.
right around there. But yeah, we're doing it for the high school yearbook too. I mean, in 2008, I actually wore a Showdown T-shirt in my senior photo. Believe it or not. So if
That's awesome.
anything else, that's another feather in the accolade pile for the Showdown.
That's legit.
That is legit. It was like the Spade T-shirt, if you remember that one.
Oh yeah, of
Oh, there
course.
was many. There was many. There was like the that I have a couple more in my closet. There was like the backbreaker one, and then the high voltage one that sold probably over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah,
I was telling somebody recently. I stopped by the goatee office in Franklin, and I saw this foam finger you guys had. It was like a lightning bolt and everything. I wanted to
yeah,
steal that thing so badly. You had no idea. Like I wanted it so bad because like
yeah. We only had a few of those.
like, do you have one?
Oh, I've got one.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I've got one. I definitely have a foam hand. I definitely have because yeah, our foam hand. It was like the foam hand said the Showdown jamming for the Lamb 2005, and I think the lightning bolt said like high voltage heavy metal 2006. So like we made them for Cornerstone, and
okay,
like and we made like the following year we did um I think like yellow and black sunglasses for Cornerstone that said like, the Showdown 777 down the side or just something crazy, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So
I feel
like
like bands aren't making merch like that anymore. Like they're like we got lighters coming out. We got like water bottles, but we don't have like foam fingers or any cool stuff like that.
oh, I love that stuff. Like I still love that stuff. I've always like scheming, with especially like when we got back together and did the Furnace Fests in 2022 and 2024. Like I wanted to do stuff like that. It didn't really make sense for us because just to pull it off like with a couple t-shirts, a hoodie, and doing a vinyl, that was just a lot in itself. But yeah, I mean, I think that stuff is always super fun.
Have you guys thought about doing like print to order for the Showdown?
We have something on our um Instagram, but it's not really been cared after in like years. And
Yeah,
and I think it's like, I mean, you can still order stuff on there, but it's like pretty much just have it to where if someone orders it, it's like a break even type
okay,
deal.
which is
Like,
what you could hope for.
yeah, like there's no like I think it would be like if somebody orders a shirt, it would be like a 25-cent profit or something. Like we just have it set super low to where it's like, no, if anybody ever finds it and they want to order something cool, but that's not like really something that we're like super pushing or.
That just means you have to sell a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're just if someone wants to seek it out and actually get a shirt from us, that's awesome. I mean, we definitely, we were really blown away like by the response of people picking up shirts and picking up albums when we did the Furnace Fest. Yeah, that was kind of like honestly mind blowing. So that's like definitely cool. But yeah, it's, as far as like the website, the Instagram, the stuff like that. Like, unfortunately, like we just don't put a lot of effort into that. So,
Yeah, I mean, isn't it just you running that, or is someone else?
it's just I do it.
Yeah,
So, yeah. I mean, I do. I'll pop some stuff on there when I can, but yeah. I mean, we're pretty much just like with the Showdown. It's like it takes something like real special for us to like get together and get motivated to play. Um, it's funny, and I was just telling somebody this the other day. It's funny because like, some bands like you think like oh, this band and they don't play anymore. Like they're not friends. They don't talk. They're not this. It's you just have this idea of like, oh man, I wish those guys could just like get back together and just like play one more show. We literally have a Showdown thread. It pops off from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed. Like we're always talking. Like we're always like, you know, in contact. So it's not like that. It's just, everybody's super busy and like everybody has, different things that they're careers, kids, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff that they're like focused on. Andrews, you know, has Arsenal strength, which takes up a lot of his time.
Well,
Um,
is did he found Arsenal?
yes, yes.
Funny. Okay, because Jake Lore's gym in Lancaster, Pennsylvania got hooked up through Arsenal. It's like all Arsenal equipment in there.
Yeah, I think that he has worked with Jake somewhat on that. And I mean that's kind of like his, like his deal. And like I know like he's done some worked with, sponsoring some stuff at Furnace Fest and
Mhm.
so he's definitely in that world, takes up a lot of his time, doing a great job. That company's amazing. The other guys, um, same deal, like everybody's, super busy with what they're doing. So, you know, I we all have kids, so it's like, everybody's busy and successful in their own right. So,
Yeah.
which is super cool. It's super cool when we can come back together and play because it's like amazingly fun. And I was like, especially 2024 Furnace Fest, man, I was like super proud of, you know, how far we came from the previous couple years to then, and what we were able to do live, and it was a lot of fun to see that, especially at the age we were, and like what you would expect to see when you see a group of guys in their 40s that used to tour 15 years ago, and like you know I'm not saying that we were the best band in the entire world, but we tried our best to put on a show that would like honor our legacy, not just like cash in and phone in what we, used to be known for. So I was like real proud of that. And like, I would love the chance to do it again. Um,
Yeah. I mean, age is just a construct. I mean, the older I get, the more I realize that. I mean, Maylene was on the Emos Not Dead cruise this last year, and man, what a time. Man, what a time.
I bet. I mean, I bet that was great. I'm jealous that I wasn't on that with you. Heck, I'm jealous that we didn't play it with them.
See, what you got to do is you got to cyberbully the team over there and just kind of work yourself on there. Like,
Right.
hey, you book us on here, just pay our way on on the ship, and we're good. That's it.
Right. Right. Yeah, we'll play. We'll play it. We'll play any of those. Like any cruise, um, you know, Emo's Not Dead, any cruise that Seven Dust is playing, you know, just let us know. The
Yeah.
show, like we're open for that for sure. I mean, Hope Deferred's ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's no question about that. Like, we're ready to jam. So yeah, any time, any place, just let us know. You can book us. We're open for business, essentially. Like,
So the timeline was like you guys started touring pretty heavily in '04, all the way up to 2011, and then everyone just kind of split and went their own way. I mean, you got married right after that, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I did. I got married. We split. We kind of played our last show, August, 2010. I got married November 2010.
Ooh.
Um, so yeah, then we had my wife and I, Sarah. We had our first child, Nevaeh, in 2011, September 2011. So, that was a quick thing. And then we had our second child in April 2013. So, yeah, I mean, it was just like boom, boom, boom.
Mhm.
Like all of a sudden one day I'm touring and I have that life, and then all of a sudden, you know, that's gone and I'm doing something completely different. Um, which was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of weird. It was the thing that was like super weird. Um, especially like I've I mean, essentially, like at that time, like I think I had been playing shows on a regular basis since I was 17 years old, and
Yeah.
I was about to be 30 years old. Or yeah, yeah, about to be 30 whenever I had my first child. So, it wasn't like I didn't really have that whole thing where it's like, I don't know what else to be, or I'm like confused because I've always been David from the Showdown. I was kind of like excited to like do something different, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I was like stoked to like, you know, do something else in life. Um, I mean, I've always loved music. I've always loved punk rock, hardcore. I think it is like super important to me, and definitely like shaped me and who I am today. But especially at that time, it was like, yeah, I'm stoked to do something different. Like it wasn't the only thing that was hard about that time period was, before we played and before we went on tour, like I had got a degree in advertising, and I was like, had kind of like done stuff with my newspaper at school and like
Mhm.
was kind of familiar with that. I always kind of thought, well, not that I was the best I wasn't really that great at like graphic designers or anything like that, but like I had like sold some ads for the newspaper. I was like the newspaper editor manager at my college. And, I was like, maybe I can just go like work for a newspaper, you know, do that kind of work or whatever whenever I don't, play music anymore. And by the time that I wasn't playing music anymore, smartphones were invented and newspapers were pretty much gone. And now they're
Yeah.
even more and more gone. So it's like, that was kind of like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? And I hadn't worked anywhere technically. So, that was kind of a challenge, right? Like trying to figure out like, okay, well, where am I going to work? Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to use my experience with the band? I have a degree, but does that really mean anything? So it was kind of like that was a challenge. Um, but it wasn't a bad thing. Like, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just a normal experience. I think I just experienced it a little bit later in life because I was like doing music until I was almost 30.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I was hoping the whiplash wouldn't be as significant as it is for other people, but like, yeah, I mean, you tour, 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 and tour, and then you kind of just stop and you get married and then you have a kid. It's just bang, bang, bang. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what the heck happened here?
yeah. And I mean, I was excited about everything else. I mean, and none of it was hard.
Mm,
And like putting the band down and moving on to another, part of life, that wasn't hard for me at all. Like I loved it and I'll never look back. I've never thought to myself like, oh my gosh, if I could just go on tour again. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved going on tour. I was really good at being on tour, and I think that it was incredible. Like, it definitely taught me a lot. Like, I feel like I have a little bit of an edge up, like, you know, being on tour, especially back then. It's like, yeah, I mean, I've even recently worked and gosh, even 10 years ago, worked with people that they couldn't believe that I toured and we didn't have GPS.
oh my God.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's something that happens when you do those types of things. Like you do become somewhat of a survivor.
Yeah.
And like, that kind of mentality and those kind of experiences, they can't be taken away from you. And, that's been the most beneficial thing for me in my life is just like, you know, starting jobs, really not knowing like my job, the job that I have now, like absolutely love it, super in love with it. It's like my passion. But when I started it, I had no clue what I was doing. It's like, but it's just like I had that survivor mentality. Like I'm gonna figure it out. Like I'm gonna get there. Like I, I, of course, yeah. We broke down in a parking lot and we made it to that next show. Like, it's a part of like that. I'm not stopping. I'm not giving up type thing. That's what touring did for me. So I'm into it. I know that we've probably just spaghettied all over the place, but
No, no, this is what it's all about, man. I guess like part of it too is maybe money as well. I mean, like when you guys left for the last like few tours before you call it a day, it's like were you guys kind of just breaking even, or were you guys in the hole a little bit, or
I mean, breaking even. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like what we were kind of where we always were.
yeah.
Almost. I mean, if we did like, we would come out pretty decent when we did like shows in the South. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like especially like when we headline shows in the South. But that's not because like, we were some like big band in the South. That's really just built off the backs of us being a hardworking band that played shows in the South from 1999 until then. And the overwhelming majority of those shows were played for free
Mm.
with no merch. So, it's that, and that was way before the Showdown's record came out because we played more shows before the Showdown came out without merch, without a pin to sell than most touring bands play ever.
Mm.
So it's like we just had a really strong network of people in small towns that were like that will come out and see us and that will support us and that promoters. And it's just like, that's not anything to do with us. It's just like that's really a network of people, really like a network of community. And I don't know if maybe it's just because like, oh, we did put a record out and, we did get to go on some really cool tours and Ozfest and stuff like that. And maybe some people felt like, oh, well, I saw them when they were 2440 or I saw them first or, that's they're our band or like, we just still feel like we could still like, if we were going to play shows, like we would still want to go play like London, Kentucky.
Mhm.
That felt just as much of our hometown as Johnson City, or just places like that. We've just met so many cool people that booked us, and especially in the South. So when we would play shows, those headlining shows in the South, I mean, that really did keep us up.
Mhm.
I mean, really, honestly,
Was there
a
a
lot
tour
of
that like
time.
was most like profitable, like maybe like the Norma Jean tour, or like no?
I mean, no, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, some were better than others, but I mean, as far as like like a lot of what we did, a lot of what we would do, you know, we would kind of at the end of a tour, at the start of a tour, we would hit a couple places, like play the small places in the South. Like we would do um, like a Johnson City, a London, or a Whitesburg, or, you know, just really do some places like that in Kentucky or, those types of places. And that would kind of like sustain us or make it, bring us out of the hole whenever we were done. I mean, we did well on tours, don't get me wrong, but, you know, we would, when we did like, the Norma Jean, I think one of the last Norma Jean tours we did, it was like Norma Jean, Oh Sleeper, My Children, My Bride,
Mhm.
and Haste the Day. And, what the album that we had just put out. I mean, if you look at the timeline of our band, I mean, we really kind of did what we wanted to do to the detriment of ourselves.
Mm.
So, like, if we would have done Course of Obliteration Part 2, might have been a different story on that say on that. If we, yeah, I mean, if we would have done Course of Obliteration 2, it might have been a different story by the time we were on those big tours.
Mm,
But when we put out Temptation, I mean, a lot of folks bounced. You know what I mean?
really?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, for sure. And but I mean, we gained and we had a lot of opportunities for that record. And then like, whenever it kind of the music scene's changing or the landscape's changing, how much money bands get to record. And, we kind of saw all that stuff coming, end of 2007 when we started making back. We're like, well, we gotta, okay, hold on. Like, we just need to kind of go back to the drawing board. We need to kind of maybe and we were kind of over Temptation. Like, we didn't want to do that again.
Mm,
So, we're just like, oh, let's just do what we do best and let's do what we do more natural. So we just did Backbreaker and we recorded with Jeremiah, like that recorded chorus, and the Backbreaker record come out. And, it's completely different than Temptation. So anybody that liked chorus that hated Temptation, they may not even give Backbreaker a chance because they just thought, oh, they're butt rock now. Um, and it wasn't really like the flavor that if you put us on the bill with the Norma Jeans, the Haste Todays, the Oh Sleepers, I mean, what that record is very different and lives in another world than those bands.
mm.
Like, we would do shows with All That Remains, Shadows Fall, band. I mean, that was like gnarly. I mean, those people like really loved us. Not to say that like the Solid State crowd didn't love us, but it was like, man, I mean, when you were touring, when we did the tour, I remember like, seeing a sleeper and the reaction that they were having. And obviously that band is incredible and they're great songs and they can jam so hard live. And just like, that was kind of definitely the vibe that was going on. And then, like, we're kind of playing like butt rock thrash. And it's just like, it just takes a real open minded person to like be into both of those, I guess.
I guess, man. I mean, I really, because I was 17 when Temptation came out, and I feel like maybe myself and a few other people I know, like, we were just down for the ride. Like, whatever came out,
Yeah.
came out. I mean, I feel like every album kind of speaks for itself. Kind of has its own flavor. I think he re-recorded a couple songs off of chorus for Backbreaker, right? It was like "Give Us This Day" and then something else.
Yeah, we did Give Us This Day.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we did that because so Give Us This Day was kind of like where we were heading after chorus. So Give Us This Day was written and recorded after chorus was done. And we recorded it kind of just like out of nowhere. Cause you know, it was awesome because we wrote it and we're like, we were going to Birmingham. We're going to play with Maylene. Anyway, this was before the first Maylene record came out, and before they were with Monoverse Stereo. So we wrote this song, we recorded, we were going to play it live, so just to see what happened. And then we played "Give Us This Day," and we had like a video of it. And then we were heading back somewhere. We had stopped off in Nashville, and we stayed with Brad, our A&R guy,
Mm.
and we had a video of us playing the song. And he was like, "Oh, it's amazing. Let's record it." So like we recorded "Give Us This Day." And then when chorus came out in Europe, they put that version on there.
Ah, that's what it was.
And then we were just like, "Oh, well, really never got that." Cause that if we would have not got wrapped up in the whole which is a whole ordeal, and I've gone over it a million times, like, but we just got kind of some Roadrunner people came to our show, and we started getting these things put on our head, and then we got to go do some songs with, Paul Ebersold, producer, and all that stuff's awesome and happened for a reason. But left to our own devices, Give Us This Day is kind of where we were headed.
Yeah. I
So
mean, did you have like additional songs recorded for each album that just kind of sat there? I mean, I know that Feels Like Hell was kind of like some extra B-sides from Temptation.
yeah, Feel
And
Like
then
Hell. There was Feel Like Hell, When It All Comes Down,
mhm,
and Snakes in the Grass. Those were just 3 tracks we didn't put on the record.
yeah,
Which, I mean, looking back now, like, why didn't you just go ahead and put those on the record?
length maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, so yeah, there's just kind of like came out as an EP like later on or whatever. Um,
Which may be a benefit though. I mean, because I feel like it's just like bonus material, extra attention, and then
yeah.
I mean, Comes Down though. I mean, I don't know how someone could listen to that song in the car and not go 90 on the freeway.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny that listen to that. We never played that song live.
Really?
No, but we did play it. Um, like us, like we were talking about tours, and we would do little things to come. One time we did an acoustic show after one of our tours to make a van payment, and that, and actually we had a blast doing it. I think there were some mixed reviews, but the owner of the bar told us that that was his favorite time he'd ever seen us.
That's funny.
And just to kind of go back, this guy was like, so me and Travis, we used to work. I'm really going to go down a rabbit hole right
Do
now,
it.
but you don't understand. Okay, so there's this dude, and like we just got into punk rock, like me and Travis, and we were just like, MXPX and Slick Shoes and this and that and the other. So we had this job at Fairfield Resorts, and it was a call center. So we seriously would go in like 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, or it was some crazy like 4 or 5 hours, and we would just like call people randomly, like, and just try to sell on these like, timeshare 2 days, 3 nights, $89 deal. There was a guy that worked at this gas station across the street, and this dude had, I mean, at the time, and this is 99. Like, I just graduated high school. This dude's covered in tats, bro. And like, he's got skateboarder, come on now, tattooed across his neck, bro. 99. And I'm like, this dude is hardcore. He's got a no use for a name sticker on the back of his like hatchback. I'm like, this guy's the most punk rock dude that I've ever seen. Ever seen. And I literally had just bought my first punk CD 6 months ago. So like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I've got the, Jinkos, I've got a wallet chain. I'm just like, whatever I can sell, whatever I can do. I just want to be punk rock. And then I actually see this guy. I'm like, whoa, this is different. But anyways, jump forward. The guy that liked our acoustic set the most was that guy. His
You
name,
never know.
yeah, his name was Tarvo. I think he's like, at the Hideaway. He was there. He's super awesome dude, but he liked that show. He liked our acoustic show. So I always thought that was cool, because it's like, I mean, dude, this guy's, come on. I mean, he's got skateboarder tattooed across his neck. He does not care and does not think that your band is cool. Like, so for him to like give us the props on that, I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, shout out Tarvo.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did the whole anywhere, anytime thing pretty damn well, though. I mean, one of my favorite memories of all time was you guys played a headline in Portland with like a bunch of locals who pieced out pretty much after they played. It was like just me. And you guys, I think it was like you would look at Yogi, you're like, oh, you know what? Let's just play. And I'm just like standing there and just doing my thing. And you guys ripped the whole set. And it's like, well, that was cool.
I
That
think
was like It was like 2010, I think. Satyricon
Yeah.
closed like right after that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. How many people were at that show?
Probably just me.
Just you. Like, seriously. I loved that show, though. I we had such a good time. I mean, because I remember we stayed at, I think we stayed at our bass player, Jeremiah's brother's house, because he lived in Portland. And he lived in this, like, hipster spot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
And,
Selwood or
like
something.
oh, yeah, and, like but everybody was gone from this house, right? So it was like, there's this, like, completely empty hipster house, and we're just like, and this was before, like, I didn't really know the rules. I mean, now I would be like,
Mm-mm.
could you imagine just, like, your house is open and, like, just random people are there, and, like, you don't know they're there? Like, I just slept in this random bed. It wasn't his brother's bedroom. It's just I found this bedroom. Just hid it I mean, this hipster house in Portland. I remember just thinking like, "Man, this is crazy." Like, we went and, like, and everything is so old in this house and, like, the tiles, and it just looks like I took a time machine. I remember getting up early in the morning, going down the street and getting coffee. And it's funny that you mentioned that show. I forgot that when I think about that time we played in Portland, that's what I think about. I forgot that, like, you were the only person at the show.
Yeah, it was weird though because like yeah, just locals who were like, "Yep, I'm out. See ya." And this is before like because now I think promoters are like, "Yeah, we want to try and get shows over by like 10:30." Because
Yeah.
the demo has kind of shifted where yeah, if you're in your 30s and 40s, like yeah, being out till 11 o'clock on a Tuesday with an hour and a half drive back, I mean, not really conducive to ticket sales. So,
Right.
I mean, I do it. I hear it gets worse, but uh, here we are. We're at 36 and we're still doing it. So we're trying. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. Thankfully, I have a RAV4 that has lane assist down that can kind of like get me on the road still.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, technology. I should be dead, but I'm not. I mean, what do you do now?
It's funny you ask.
Oh my God.
I'm an adjuster for Progressive
Oh,
Insurance,
fantastic.
and, I look at car crashes.
Have you ever been sitting at your desk where it's like, you know what? I should be dead right now, but I'm not.
No, I mean, well, I'm sitting at my desk right now.
Okay.
So, like,
Are you
yeah,
work from home all day?
well, I work I have an office at my home, but I
Okay.
go out and, like, look at things and look at cars and, mill around and stuff like that. But yeah, this is where my office is, quote unquote. But yeah, no, I see, I do a lot of claims for Toyota of Knoxville, so I know about those RAV4s. Yeah, they're good cars.
I bought the
They're
new one. I mean, I got the 26 when it dropped in
oh
March. So, yeah. So
yeah, dude, you're gold. Yeah, just like a video game. Just click a couple of buttons. You could almost fall asleep.
yeah, I was
Uh,
surprised. I mean, I saved for like 10 years. So, I mean, yeah,
it's
I started driving late. That was the part. I mean, I had a Mazda 626 in college that blew up a year in, and then went to a Chevy Impala, and then just got rid of that. So yeah, 10 years of saving, kind of panic saving every year, and then the COVID money came in, threw that in savings, and then finally time was right. So
That's awesome.
yeah, lane assist backup camera. Never had that before. That was
I
weird.
love it. I love that. Yeah.
Feel like I'm cheating. But no, I mean, plus the gas mileage is like what 44 miles a gallon,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
about how like, the vans in these things like we have bands going out now. Oh, they're getting like 11 miles a gallon. Like, how are they doing it?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I literally don't know. I mean, the thing is like when we were touring, when we were on Ozfest, I think gas was like $5 a gallon,
Ooh,
in '07. I mean, it was expensive. I know that like it cost so much money because we were in an actual bus on Ozfest.
okay.
It cost more money than you could ever imagine
Oh yeah,
just to fill it up. Like we're like, and I still to this day, I'm like, okay, how do bands make? Because I mean, it was like probably when we were on Ozfest, it cost on average about $1,000 a day.
yeah. Because
I
COVID,
mean,
COVID really made a huge dent. Like, I'm sure you were happy to be off the road at that point. We're like, oh yeah, it was 20,000 a week before. Now it is 35,000. Is that going to be okay? Not exactly. Not
yeah,
exactly. How about one of those
and
green vans? Let's get one of those guys.
right, yeah, no
Do like
doubt.
350 a week instead. Um, but no, it's funny. I was thinking about like I think I had discovered the band back in like 2005 or so because I mean things were so much different back then compared to now where it's all algorithms and like whatever's kind of fed to you.
Yeah,
File sharing. I mean, yeah, going down like the tooth and nail, solid state, mono versus stereo, Flickr, just all in the same ecosphere. It's like, oh, if you like this band, you should go download this off of LimeWire and SoulSeek and um, but then yeah, touring, it's like you discover, new bands and you guys had come through with Project 86 in 2006. To this day, one of the best tours I've ever been to. It was them, you guys, and August Burns Red, which was Jake Lure's very first tour
yeah,
with the
yeah.
band.
I remember that well. I mean, they were crushing it, and also this band Schema opened,
Hmm.
which they are actually great. They're great. I don't think they ever like they never got signed or whatever, but they had like this little demo CD. I still like jam it every once in a while. They're so good. That was a fun tour. That was a
Yeah.
great tour.
I wish I had the poster. I had it at one point and then like, moving and whatnot, you just kind of lose things.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would pay a pretty penny for that.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't even think I have one. But hmm, yeah, that was a fun tour.
Yeah.
That was a really fun tour. I think at that time like done we had that tour was great. Like I think prior to that we had done Blindside. Prior to that we had done Extol. Like I think we had done Showbread before. Like we had done in that short amount of time. Like we had so many awesome tours. That one was a
The
killer tour.
Blindside tour in '05. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, that was sick. It was Showbread, us, and Blindside.
Yeah. I mean, I would watch that every night.
It was for 2 months. I
Yeah.
mean, it was legit. I mean, it was like super crazy. We didn't even know what to expect. I mean, like I mean, I love Blindside, and I loved when Thought Crushed My Mind came out. Like I thought that record rocked so hard. You know what I mean? I kind of fell away from jamming on them a little bit. And I mean, I knew that like they were bigger and that like that record's silence was like huge.
Hmm.
But then we like went on tour with them and it's like, oh, whoa, holy crap. Like these shows are like sold out. They're like 2,000 people every night. And then, obviously like I've jammed that record since a ton. It's a classic rules. Like, yeah, it's no wonder.
I mean, it was
Like,
so commercially successful too, both on like active rock radio and
yeah,
both in like the faith circles and whatnot.
yeah.
But no, I mean, it's crazy. So you talk about having two kids, right? What do they think about the Showdown?
They think it's cool. They like it a lot. They're like super, super into it. Like they'll still wear like the shirts, sometimes. And you know, they're into it. Like they got to come and see us in 2022 um play Furnace Fest. And, they stood on the side of the stage and then the same thing. 2024. And they came to the shows, the local shows before that, so it was like, they're all about it. Plus, like, going to Furnace Fest, like we stay there the whole time and with them. So, like, we're watching like all these bands like on the stage, our kids are with us, like, and they're getting to meet people, they're getting to meet people from Five Iron. They're getting to meet people that I'm jazzed to meet, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's kind of neat. It's kind of nice to, and the Furnace Fest guys allowing us the opportunity to play, and not just play, but providing us the, opportunity to, bring our kids, really and truly memories that are priceless.
For
So,
sure.
yeah.
Is there any bands that like they're into that you're like, oh, I never would have expected that?
I mean, I think that they like, they they've always been exposed to music and cool music. Um, so they do like, um, you know, MXPX, they like Fire and Frenzy. Um, they have recently, like Nevaeh, my oldest daughter, she likes Lorna Shore. Um, they like, and then they like Taylor Swift, stuff like that. They've gotten into a little bit of country music, recently, which, it's all good.
I mean,
Um,
you're in Tennessee, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I think Morgan Wallen went to high school like 20 minutes from my house, so
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
it's a thing. So, um, but no, they do. They like, and they've listened to some other things that I've never heard before. Sleeping with Siren or something.
Yeah, yeah, they've been around
They
for
were
20 years.
20 years. No, they're because, yeah, just stuff like that. Like, I'm like, oh, I've never heard that, or I've never, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. I mean, look, I think they've, not sure if we're still in the sleep token phase, but
Yeah,
my thing is like, I back it if you're gonna jam. If you're jamming on rock music, cool. Like, that rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to gatekeep like rock. Like, if you're rocking out, especially like, man, I wasn't even listening to anything when I was like in middle school. Like, I listened to nothing. Like, I think, it was like the only thing that we listened to was like Jodeci or something, or like Boys to Men, like
that's not a bad
no,
choice.
no, no, it's not a bad choice, but I mean, it's just like, we didn't know. I didn't know who, I mean, I listened to, MTV and the stuff on
Yeah,
MTV, obviously, like, and I liked hair metal when I was little and stuff like that, but I didn't really like get passionate about listening to music and like being into bands and being into music until like my senior year of high school. So it's cool to see them, like kind of like go, be, stoked on music, like, you know,
and they're kind of at the point now where I mean, like, what, 14, 15?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got
about the
13.
point they can go to like their shows on their own, give or take.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, usually like we'll go, you know what I mean? Like we go to the shows. We
yeah,
took them to see, we took them to see, we've taken them to see Five Iron recently, not counting, Furnace Fest,
yeah,
but like we took them to see Five Iron, some bands in Nashville. We went to see the MXPX tour in Atlanta a couple years ago, which was fantastic. We went to see like Kubla Khan and Lorna Shore and Whitechapel and
hmm,
somewhere in North Carolina. So, we'll definitely do gigs. We went to saw Disciple a while back. So we went to Winter Jam. So we're show people. I mean, we
yeah.
we
You know
we
it
don't
all.
get to go as much as we want to, but
How about
we went and saw Zach Williams,
okay?
really good show, and Toby Mac not too long ago. So we
When
all over the place.
Was your wife like into like heavier music when you met her, or was that something that you kind of like eased her?
No, no, no. She's always been into music. Like she's always been a big fan of music. She was more into, I don't want to totally speak for her. I think she had like a maybe like a small brief moment of a punk rock stage. I know she likes, so she did definitely like, Audio Journal and DC Talk, stuff like that. But I think she really like was stoked on stuff like POD and like
Yeah.
that kind of jam. You know what I mean? Like she was like more into the harder stuff, like not so much like a punk rock type thing. Like if it had like a like a kind of a punk rock voice, counter out.
So
But
like
yeah,
radio rock then.
yeah, she likes like, like the As Like Dying, Zayo, Dead Poetic, As Cities Burns. She's into that project,
Yeah.
Blindside, stuff like that. She likes great music. I mean, I like all that music.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know what's funny? You would be the perfect person to kind of gauge this here because I feel like if you have bands like Project, you have bands like POD, those are bands that have stood the test of time over the last like 20, 25 years or so in the Christian space that can also get respect in the secular space as well. There's not a lot of bands like that in the Christian metal space. I think of like Demon Hunter, they're one. Impending Doom, another one. Sleeping Giant, another one. Outside of that, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out like who else. Maybe For Today, but I'm not sure
as far as like people that are respected
in both
outside of,
circles.
I think the biggest one, bar none, hands down, like by leaps and bounds, is Advent.
Ooh, yeah. They played one time in Portland. One time.
They're so respected, and maybe even more so outside of the Christian scene. They're just they're something different with that. You know what I mean? And yeah, that band rules. They're definitely like, yeah, and obviously like you're talking about Demon Hunter and bands like that. They have a different reach or audience or whatever. But as far as like the respect level and like being accepted both, I just see them as like being, I feel like they may be even more accepted outside of the Christian scene, but I don't know,
Really?
maybe that's me. Yeah.
Maybe. But no, it's fun to ask though because I feel like yeah, Advent it was crazy. They played one time in Portland. They were supporting Demon Hunter. This is like maybe 2008.
Hmm.
And you think about a pit like, oh man, that was something. That was that pit, man. Like there was like Advent played and people are getting like speared through tables. It was like
Yeah.
WWE tables, ladders, and chairs, dude. It was something. Like outside of that, I mean, you don't see pits like that very often.
Yeah.
Outside of like the Acacia strain or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Joe. I mean, Advent is crazy.
Yeah. Band rules.
And they're still putting out music.
Yeah. And it rocks. Yeah. Band rules. That band rules. I mean, and they're from, and it, from my perspective, like it just being in growing up in East Tennessee, like, we're so close to North Carolina. We're so close to that scene where all that stuff was going on in North Carolina. So many bands from, were trailblazing back then. The Host Fall, especially in the area of the South, like Hope's Fall, Under Oath, Norma Jean, Beloved, Cool Hand Luke, all these bands, they're all like right compact in a little area. And a lot of other bands come out of North Carolina as well. And I don't know, there's just like a really cool scene to be a part of during that time period. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, if we broaden the circle outside of like again the strictly metal, yeah, we're talking like Project, POD. They're kind of in the goat conversation for as far as
Yeah.
like Christian secular spaces.
Yeah,
Because again,
for sure.
Project was very commercially successful for a few years.
Yeah.
It was like what 2002, 2001, like through '05, give or take.
Yeah. Oh,
That's a
for
good stretch.
yeah, they
And
did.
then
They
POD
did.
is still crushing it. I mean, they're playing every major rock festival still on the main stage.
Yeah. Yeah. That band rules.
I mean, POD may be in the GOAT conversation for like rock music in general. That's
Yeah.
but dude, yeah, you're moving on, moving on, moving on, moving on, and then what? You did Hope Deferred what in 2023?
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, like how that happened was by getting back together with the Showdown. I'd been trying to get in touch with Andy for a while and never could figure out how. I love the Famine. And I love those Famine records. And, I definitely like, there was a time where I got, a microphone and I had like a little setup and I still have it. And I was like, figuring out how to record my own vocals at my home. And, I'm just like thinking like, man, it's changed so much. Like it really is possible that you could like play with someone that you've always wanted to play with or, you know, so I thought, man, it'd be great if I could just do a song with Andy because I like love Famine. And then, that didn't really pan out. Couldn't really figure out how to get a hold of him. And then I run into Eric Shirey, he did like Pluto Records and
Mhm.
he has like, I knew of Hope Deferred and knew that he was like, knew Andy and at one point had messaged, I was trying to buy a Famine shirt and he like messaged me back and about it. And like, so I knew that he knew that camp and I'd mentioned to him at Furnace Fest, like, man, I want to do a song with Andy. And, he was like, oh yeah, you and everybody else. And I was like, oh man, give me a break. Yeah, like, come on, man. And he is just like super helpful and super awesome and like actually like hooked me up with Andy. And he sent me some tracks and this was, end of 2022 and then from 2023 till we put our record out in October of 2025, they would send tracks and um it was a slow process. I mean,
Yeah.
there for a while, like, for the first year of me, quote unquote, being in Hope Deferred, I had very little communication with them, to be honest. Almost to the points where I was like, oh man, is this real? Like, am I really in a band right now? Um, but I wanted to be, and I loved the project, and I loved the music that I was hearing, and I was passionate about it. So at one point about maybe like about a year later, I actually went down there when they were doing drums for the record and met everybody for the first time. And it just so happened that we actually clicked and hit it off. And, it being a group of guys, especially guys that already know each other, they don't know me. I mean, some of those guys, they were embodiment. They toured and I mean, they know each other like really well.
Mhm.
So it's like, so I didn't know what to expect, and we just hit it off. And then, and then it kind of started like, oh, this is a real thing. Like I did like did a vocal, like a scratch vocal while I was there that first time. And it was just like, oh, this is cool. So went back down after the drums and everything was recorded, started I did like a session and then went back and then recorded it in 2 sessions, like 2 separate trips. And then it was just like, now we're just, yeah, we're a band. We're cool like this. Even if we didn't do the band anymore, I love those guys. I would want to hang out with them. Um, so yeah, it's definitely been like a real special thing, like to be a part of. I yeah, I mean, it's starting 2003 to the uncertainty of like, oh my gosh, this is happening, and then it come out, and it was just like, you know, a project that I was so proud of. It just completely, you know, blew my expectations out of the water. I didn't went from never thinking I was ever gonna be able to do a record ever again to putting out a piece of music that, like, I'm, like, super proud of, and, like, it represents me well, and it's I feel like, that's me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's not me trying to put on something that I'm not, or, you know, it's just a very it's a stark difference between Blood in the Gears to that record. It's not it's 2 different bands, but, you know, I don't I feel like that the Hope Deferred record is me. I'm just glad that I had a chance to do glad I had a chance to do something else.
Mhm.
Because I feel like it's more of a representation of me. And it's like, you know, whenever I was doing a Blood in the Gears, I mean, when I was recording it, I felt like I just don't know if this is a representation of me.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I, so not to hate on it. And I, like I said, I've said it a million times, you know, if it weren't for the other guys that kind of stepped in and became part of the Showdown and you know, drove the boat on that record, it wouldn't exist. You know, people um there we've had, you know, a lot of good positive feedback, and some people really like that record, and you know, I'm thankful for that. And I don't want to take anything away, and would never want to ruin that record for anyone. And I don't mean to disparage that, you know, or whatever. It's hard because it's not the original people of the Showdown, like the ones that were playing with us at the Furnace Fest, or the, you know, the Josh, or, you know, it is definitely a different thing, right? So it's hard for me to view that as something like Backbreaker or like Course of Obliteration. So for to have that being the last thing that I ever did, even though I'm proud of it and I'm thankful for it, I was glad to be able to do something different.
Yeah.
To be able to be like, this is where I'm at now. Like,
Yeah.
remember this.
For sure. I mean, I can only imagine, like, you're off, on break from like 2011 up until now, and just having it, just kind of just scratching that itch of like having a creative outlet. Like, did you realize like how bad you kind of needed that, or like?
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, I loved it. I think that I don't think it. I think I was grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going on, like, if you think about the most expensive, coolest vacation that you could ever go on, like, that's kind of how I view it. Like you're thankful that you got to go on that vacation.
Yeah, that
Like,
makes
I'm
sense.
thankful that, like, I got to do that. Like, I didn't it's not something that I, like, necessarily needed to do or whatever, but God, I really wanted to. Like, and I didn't know that I wanted to as much as I did, and I'm so thankful, and, like, God, it'd be great to do it again, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, it's yeah, it ruled doing it, and I do wanna do it again. Like, for sure.
Because
Um
the process, like I said, was like 18, 19 months of just you writing track by track and sending it back.
Yeah, I mean, the way that it kinda worked out with Hope Deferred was, you know, I was getting the tracks and getting the tracks and getting the tracks, and I was actually writing a lot. I wrote pretty much every song. I wrote the lyrics for every single song, recorded every single song at my house, and so with the Showdown, I didn't write any of the lyrics, and I did not I come up with some, maybe some of the patterns, some of the stuff, but that's really just not my thing.
Really?
Um, I can do it, and I'm better at it now, or whatever. But so, and I was proud of what I was coming up with, but I know
Mhm.
there was like a time when, um, you know, Andy sent me a chorus for one of the songs. I think it was "Commanded to Kill." and because Andy did the vocals and lyrics for the first like 3 songs that they had. And then the chorus, I mean, it was like completely different from what I had come up with. And I think maybe it had a verse, and it was just like, oh my God, this is so good. You know what I mean? I didn't know that he had written a good amount of the lyrics and vocals for the Famine records, and come up with a lot of ideas from Embodiment. I don't want to like, I can't. He's done podcasts, and he really like, I think, gets into the nuts and bolts of that. So I don't want to say like exactly what he did or didn't do, but he's really good at it. Okay, like, and you know, it was super nice that he was encouraging me to come up with stuff and send ideas. Um, but the more he would send me, the more that it was just kind of, okay, this is the way this is going to go.
Yeah.
You're really good at that. You're good at lyrics and vocals. Like you're good at, and that's kind of something that I was, you know, I was comfortable being in that role because that's the way it was with Josh and I. So, you know, Josh would and come up with the lyrics and come up with, you know, vocals, and then we would kind of work together on some patterns and stuff like that. But, you know, we were doing music and together since we were young. So it's like we've had a lot of the same experience. It didn't feel unnatural to me. I didn't feel like I felt like I was able to kind of like make it come alive. And it meant something to me when I was doing it at the Showdown.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with Hope Deferred. Like it was a cool exercise for me because like, I mean, I have tons of lyrics now and I have tons of things, and I know, oh, I can do that, you know, and I can come up with stuff. And I've come up with stuff in the past, but it was definitely like more of, you know, Andy's great at writing those, and so there's a couple different versions. I've got versions of my own songs, and then I've got versions that I did, you know, with his lyrics and patterns and stuff, and then, you know, then we've got the album version. So it was kind of fun to. It was a fun process. It was a long process, but you know, all that to be said, um, yeah, no, I didn't on the finished product. I did not have. I did not write the lyrics, but I can say that I back the lyrics. I'm 100% behind the lyrics, and not there's some themes that like I was feeling that I feel like are kind of in line. I don't think they're. It's not. I didn't think my lyrics weren't really living outside of the realm of the lyrics on the Hope Deferred record. So it wasn't like, oh, now I've got to talk about this, or
Mhm.
I'm doing these things that I'm not passionate about this. Like I don't believe this. Like no, I 100% believe these lyrics. Like this is my jam. Like so it was cool. I don't think I'd be able to do it if I wasn't behind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, so that was cool. I mean, I'm a big fan. And
Yeah.
I feel like and it's cool because like it's not because of me. I mean, it's really the other guys. Like I feel like I'm like Mark Wahlberg in the Rockstar movie. You know, those dudes are legends, man. I mean, Embodiment's killer. Like they put out so many good records. The Famine's so killer. Like, you know, just to be able to be a part of that group and you know, not just be like the guy on the record. Like I feel like I'm one of them, you know, and that's like super crazy. like like who knew?
Yeah. Because I mean, that's great. I love hearing that because I feel like, you know, Gears coming out 16 years ago, which again feels really surreal to think about. I'm wondering, how you had grown as a writer and a musician since then. And so, yeah, that covers quite a bit of that.
Yeah. And I mean, with Blood in the Gears, Josh wrote the lyrics on Blood in the Gears. So, Blood in the Gears, like he wrote the lyrics. Josh and I worked on the vocals. Then the other guys did the music.
Yeah.
That was the first Showdown record that Josh, I think the one song, Josh wrote a couple songs. The only thing that he wrote that like made the record was the hidden track Woven Throne.
Mm.
So like everything else was written by Jeremiah Patrick.
Yeah. And again, that record still holds up too, because I think, speaking of things that hold up, that video for Man Named Hell, crazy video. Like, how expensive was that video? I gotta know that.
It wasn't that bad.
Really?
No, because like we had a really good, to be honest, like I was checked out.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate you saying that it was a cool video. Um, it wasn't my thing.
Really?
Like, I mean, and I'm not no hate on it. Like, I mean, I feel so bad. Like, okay, I feel guilty because I don't want. Yeah, it's nothing I haven't said before.
Yeah.
Like, the motorcycles, the this, the that, like that's not my vibe. It's never been my vibe. To do a music video and to wear a leather vest is like the biggest form of me being a poser that I could have ever been. And just to be, and that's how I felt at the time. So to watch, I can't even watch it.
There's no way.
Like I can't even watch it. I mean, it's just like so not me. You know what I mean? Like that's just not me. Wasn't me then, is not me now. So
I'm curious with the record coming out in like 6, 7 months ago, give or take. How many people have you kind of reconnected with since it dropped? Like, oh man, like yo, Button's doing stuff again. Like, I gotta check this out. Because for me, I had no idea until like something on Facebook told me like, oh, this is coming out. I'm like, what? How in the heck was I not told about this?
yeah, I mean, it's been really cool. Like, I mean, honestly, the response that we've had has been super overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like super, super overwhelming. Like, and we've kind of toned down pushing things online and stuff like that. I think like the next step for us is like, you can only put out, so many. I don't want to dance around your question. You can only put out so many, you know, put together reels of recording the record.
Yeah.
You can only do so many t-shirt drops or push. We only have 20 vinyls left. Go to Hope Deferred Instagram right now. We only have 20 vinyls left, by the way, which is awesome. Merch plug.
Heck yeah.
Get it while it's hot. First press.
Maybe the only press.
Might be the only press. But it's a great vinyl. And it's pretty vinyl. And so, yeah, what was I saying?
Trying to answer.
I've never done this in a podcast.
Well, better to have it happen with me than with somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is what it is. But
No,
no,
just
I mean,
reconnecting with other people just after the record dropped and whatnot.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think it's been super overwhelming. And I mean, I think for us, it's kind of promoting everything has kind of died off because I think the next step for us is kind of like try to play live.
Mm-hmm.
But when we first put it out, the amount of people that were, you know, giving us positive feedback, the coverage that we had, some really cool coverage on outlets, like No Clean Singing, Heavy Metal Heavy Dads, did a really cool thing. The So many cool plays. I think Kingdom Core, they put us like
Mhm.
in there pretty high up in their year records of the year type deal. Just and the people that want us to be on podcasts, and it's been great. I mean, it really has been great. And, the amount of people that bought records just completely, I mean, none of us have been in active bands in a really long time.
Yeah.
And none of us, luckily we're not doing this to become famous or
No.
whatever. I mean, we hoped that we could at least somewhat, you know, break even and not have
Mhm.
boxes of stuff hanging out. But, that's not really, we just wanted to do it because whatever. But I mean, really have been fortunate to see the overwhelming response. I mean, it's really been overwhelming. I mean, the amount of people that bought, and I was all against like getting CDs pressed. I was like, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, nobody buys CDs, man. Like, we don't need to get CDs. Oh my gosh. So many people picked up CDs. So many people picked up records, like vinyls. So many people picked up shirts. And it's just like, this is crazy. Like, we're so thankful. So yeah, I mean, it's been really cool as far as that goes. I mean, you know, there's just so many awesome bands. There's so many awesome bands doing cool things, putting out cool gear. Is just like super cool, like the support that we got. Like, so
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just the responses is just for the fact that I don't see a lot of newer bands coming out, especially in the Christian metal space. And so when a band like this comes out, it's like, ooh, people are taking notice. Like, oh man, they needed that.
that's cool. I mean, yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, definitely, I mean, we're definitely, I mean, it's Christian death metal. I mean, there's no way around that. I mean, it is what it is. We're definitely, we're in a spot where I don't want to like overspeak about this, but for me personally, it's like, yeah, that's what it is. It is a Christian death metal. I could care less. I'm definitely not going to go out of my way to cater to Christian market or, you know, do whatever that takes or, do some cheesy stuff to like, get Christian folks to buy a record or whatever. I'm not a pastor and I'm not a preacher. But at the same time, I'm not going to say or pretend like I'm not a Christian. So people on, Lamb Goat likes me and they don't want me to fan flip. I could care less about that either. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool to just like be what it is. And like
Yeah.
that people are still stoked on it. So, I mean, like, it's like a big compliment.
How'd you guys actually get the money to do this? I mean, it's a DIY project. I mean, recording is not cheap.
I mean, that's all it's yeah, all self-funded. So the other guys put up that money.
Great.
So yeah, I mean everything, everything is paid for in-house. Um, luckily they were in a position to do that, I mean, yeah, I don't want to it's hard because it's like, it's not something that I can't take credit for that, but you know, and maybe a lot of people don't realize how it is expensive to record. It's
Oh yeah.
expensive to get vinyls pressed, to get, CDs pressed and to do all that, especially if you want to do it at a super high quality that, you know, we're proud. Like, we wanted it to be like, we spent all this time working on this music. We, Andreas mixed it. That, he's mixed like Oh Sleepers, the Haste the Day. He was in Scarlet. Andreas Magnuson.
Yep.
He mixed the record. We recorded drums and did some pre-production with Braxton Henry, and then recorded a lot of it ourselves, like self-produced. So I mean, it's really DIY, and we got Ryan Clark from Demon Hunter to do the artwork. So we really put a package together that that's what you would have got if it would have come out on another label. You wouldn't have got any less quality. Like, this is the most high quality that we could do.
Yep.
Like, so, and I'm proud of that. Like, we did send it to, a couple folks, like, Solid State, and did this and that, and like, hey, we got this record. It's like ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, it didn't really, like, hear back much about that or whatever. I mean, it's 2026. Like, what are you gonna do? It's, dudes in their 40, recording a record. They're not touring. Like, I get it, but you know, and who needs? I mean, if you can do it yourself, like we did it, which we found out, it's kind of more beneficial, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
It didn't, and I mean, I wanted to, and I mean, what? I'm not trying to be cool. I really don't care. I think that part of me, like, yeah, it would have been cool if it would have come out on Solid State, just because, like, we were on Solid State, and it's just kind of cool. Like, not really, it'd just be kind of cool to, like, have that feather in our hat, like, you know, just because, like, I like that label. A lot of my favorite bands have been on Tooth and Nail Solid State, and, like, that's a big part. Being a part of that label is kind of cool to me. Like, that part of my career, and also being a part of Monoverse Stereo and Goatee, that's incredible as well. But, we definitely learned that, I don't know, if you have the means to do it yourself and the time to do it yourself, it can be very rewarding.
Hmm.
So, you know, I don't know. We're gonna do another record and we'll see what happens. But
Was there anybody you tried to get on the record this time around that just maybe didn't work out, or
you mean like as a
like
guest person?
collaborators, or no?
No, no, we didn't do anything like that. No, we didn't have time. I mean, we didn't really have. I mean, it was just to get the songs and get me, flown down to Texas, because I mean, I went to Texas to record, and like that was a big part of my vibe. Is like, I like recording with people. I like to be in the mix. I like to get that feedback. I like to see people get stoked. Like, I like to go back into the room, like after I've done a vocal, and see people pumped on it, or you know somebody telling me like do something different, or like, it's like, I love that. So um yeah, that was kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. I
But
mean, is there any like maybe people you would like to reach out to for the next go around? Like, obviously we're a couple
uh,
years out, but like, maybe like a Brooke
maybe
Reeves,
m-
maybe
maybe I don't know. I can't really, dude. Man, those other dudes, man, they're just really metal. You know what I'm saying? They're super metal,
yeah.
dude.
I think I mean, Brooke could crush on what you're
Oh,
doing. I mean, maybe some others.
it would be cool. I mean, I think it would be cool. We would love to do. We actually talked about it. We would love to do shows with Impending Doom. It would be cool. I mean, obviously would be amazing if he would want to do a collaboration. I mean, I'm a big fan of Joe's vocals from Advent.
Hmm.
I like stuff like that. I mean, I'd be into anything.
It goes
I
down to the DMs, dude. You just gotta make it happen. Be like, hey.
just get on them. Yeah, just get on
Well, if you don't ask, I mean, it doesn't happen, you know?
them. Yeah, but I mean, as far as that goes, like, and two, it's just like with us, we're just so. I think we're so we were. I know with the record, we're just so focused on just making it happen in general that we're like really like thinking about like including anyone.
Yeah. Let's get the plane
Like,
off the ground first.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, the record's out. Do you have T-shirts online still, or are those gone?
We do. Yeah, we
Okay,
do. We have some. We've got a handful of records left. We got some CDs, maybe a handful of hoodies, and we do have like a couple t-shirts and long sleeve.
and then
So
with shows, I mean, you're hoping to do some stuff for like locally or in the area first, and then kind of
yeah,
you know,
for sure. I mean, we I went down to Texas to rehearse, excuse me, for the first time with the guys, and we rehearsed for like 3 days. It was incredible. Hung out, we rehearsed. John and I got pulled over and almost got arrested. Um, it was awesome. I had the hands on the police car in Texas highway. A coffee cup flew out of the back of. We had thrown a coffee cup in the back of John's truck. It flew
can
out of the back of John's truck. And the dude thought that we were just trying to dispose of drugs. We were we were like, nah, dude. We're like jamming for the Lamb over here, like Hope Deferred. Have you ever heard of us, dude? Come on. I'm like over here. I'm like, dude, I know you heard of Embodiment, right? Like,
yeah,
come on. Like, you're a cop in Texas. I know you was moshing back then, but he wasn't. But yeah, we didn't get arrested. But it was a fun trip, dude. And that definitely kind of sparked a because I think everybody, really wants to play live, and hopefully we can do some shows down in Texas. I think the guys are open to, going and doing some shows like regionally, like maybe popping up to Birmingham or Nashville or like any, festivals and stuff like that, like putting a small run together. And it would be incredible to do something like that. So, yeah, it's cool to be doing music, especially, with some guys that are open and willing to do that.
yeah.
Um,
Texas
so
should be great.
definitely,
I mean, third string is pretty popular in Texas. So Mike and his team, kind of hold Texas down.
yeah, for sure, dude, it'd be so cool. Um, and yeah, I mean, because Mike is part of the team that got us up to
Hmm.
Furnace Fest for the Showdown. So, but yeah, we're actually like they're based out of the same area that I think that Mike is in.
Yeah,
So
Dallas.
yeah.